Hello, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're returning, always welcome back. Now, if you're new to the channel, anything of any relevance having to do with this channel, such as, or me, like you want to get in contact with me, find me on any of my social medias, the link is in the description box. You want to find my website link in the description box. You want to find Patreon link again in the website. Any important link you will find in the description box. All right. Also know that every time you listen to one of my videos, you have an opportunity to win a free psychic reading. All you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the magic word, right? So every time you want to find the magic word, let's just say you don't hear it because maybe I don't say it in some of my videos. Maybe I just say, check out the magic word. You'll always find the magic word in the description box. But today I'll tell you the word. The word is, again, Master Healer. So if you write the word Master Healer in your comment bar, then you just have to wait to see whether or not I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. If I did, just reach out to me at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com with a few dates and times that you would be available to do a reading, and then I will try to work it out in my schedule. All right. Just always like to put that out there. Now, this message is again going to be for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed, flip it, switch it, twist it. Just interpret the message as best resonates for you. Take what you need, leave the rest. Also know that sometimes the reading will resonate sometimes more with you, and then all of a sudden it resonates more with the other person's perception of the situation. So what I noticed is the person that needs to hear the message is where the message goes, right? Again, what the message needs to be is, again, the message that comes out. And sometimes the message needs to be how you would deal with the situation, right? And so maybe you would need to know a certain information, and then you hear that information. The reason why is because you actually are holding that energy vibration inside of you. You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life, and that includes the spiritual energy you get. That's why I always like to do my videos live stream, because it winds up being that no matter how long the video is up, that someone resonates with the video years after it, because again, if the video just finds who it needs to go to, you just find who it needs to go to. It's spiritual energy. Like goes to like. And so sometimes you'd be like, well, I'm not like the person that came to me. Well, it's not only like goes to like, you attract what you need. So if it's a painful situation, if you've attracted someone that isn't nice to you, you might have needed that situation and be like, oh, I needed someone to be mean to me. No, you needed to learn how to set boundaries. You needed to learn self-love. You needed to learn, again, who's worth your time. So sometimes it's a lesson like that, unfortunately. So for those of you that are new, know that I always like to open up my readings looking at the spiritual energy first. That allows us to go really deep into your reading. So we're not just going to look at what a person is doing and what they're going to do. We look at why they actually are doing what they're doing or did what they did. And that allows us to deal with the situation from a higher consciousness. And that will give us the best outcome for everyone that's involved, especially the person that's in need of the advice. Because the person that's usually in need of the advice already knows that they are stuck, they're blocked in dealing with an energy, a person that is committed sometimes to not bending, to not changing. So then a lot of times we feel stuck, but we feel stuck if we relinquish our control. I don't know why I just channeled that. I kind of feel like that might be in the reading. Sometimes, again, we're with the soulmate that isn't really treating us the way that they should. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. First card out is self-critical. Well, that again, already that's a low vibration, right? Because again, anything that's self-critical, but what makes us self-critical? We can say, well, there's someone in our environment that tends to make us self-critical, or we're in a situation that we're judging ourselves, but understand a lot of times we judge ourselves because we're looking at ourselves through a distorted perception of ourselves, and one that we had long before we were dealing with this particular incident, situation, or person, that it has awakened this trigger again for us to then be judgmental on ourselves. But if we're in a imbalanced relationship, it's easy to be self-critical, right? There's a sense of wanting to fix it, wanting to heal it, wanting to repair it, and then judging ourselves. So when we're in a relationship like that, we're not able to go with the flow. You tend to then want to control the energy there, okay, and then deluded. And that happens too if we have distorted perceptions about ourselves because we have a wound. Now I'm feeling like, Virgo, you're dealing with a person that is very self-critical because they were in an environment with past relationships where they were always being judged. Nothing was ever good enough. And that happens a lot of times when relationships don't have passion anymore. Like again, if you're in a relationship that after a while there's no love, there's no passion, then what happens is that you never measure up to that person because the person doesn't really want to be with you. You don't really want to be with that person. So what happens is everything is a trigger then. So I feel like your person has been in a relationship with someone that they don't want to be with, but they've tried to be in the relationship, and they're deluded, in the way that they perceive themselves. So they're deluded in the way that they actually deal with you. And I say that they're self-critical also because of the way that they dealt this relationship. Now, if your person is not in a relationship with someone, again, I feel like if they are in a relationship, they're in a loveless relationship. If they're not, they're still holding on energetically to their past relationship, which is making them self-critical about what they believe that they can have for themselves. And that's how they're deluded. They're looking at themselves through the perception of someone else that perceived them to not measure up. But that happens when, there's no passion. And sometimes what happens in a relationship is that the relationship goes really fast. And over time, it becomes like more of an obligation. It becomes more of a routine. You lose the passion. And so then it becomes all about work. We know, like a family or a couple that plays together stays together, but when there's no passion, then a lot of times there's no playing together either. And so again, what's left is self-critical. You're self-critical because you're not happy in your relationship, and the person is letting you know that they're not happy with you. So even though you may not be in that your person may not be in that relationship anymore, and again, this could be you, Virgo, maybe you're again, we're in a relationship with someone that it was a loveless relationship after a certain amount of time, but you stayed in that relationship and you stayed unhappy. And when you stay unhappy, it affects your self-esteem. And that's why the way that you would look at any new options through like almost like you were deluded, believe that, what am I, crazy? I can't have that. I can't have that because I'm not good enough, because I have proof based on past relationships. And that's the underlining energy here. And so when I even think about being in a connection with you now, Virgo, I get overstimulated. I have anxiety, but the reason why your person has anxiety is because they need healing, and they need healing because they're self-critical, and they're through, again, a distorted perception about themselves, which means that they don't really even know who they are or what they want. Because if a person is able to make a person feel bad about themselves, it means that they have invested a lot of time into that relationship, and some of that time should have went into building your person. So this is what happens with codependency. So I feel like your person was in a codependent relationship that they've outgrown. That's why there's no passion anymore. That they've stayed in a very low vibration in order to be able to maintain this imbalanced relationship, though they're miserable. They don't really want to be in this relationship. That's what I feel. And if they're not in a relationship, they're holding on to the past person energetically, and they're overstimulated and still thinking about starting a relationship with you because they're still basing who they are on, again, that past relationship. So they might as well still be in that relationship because it's keeping them blocked. It's keeping them stuck. So let's see what happened. Right? It's like, what happened? Why? Because right now, what it is, it's like, did your person, did this like relationship even get off the ground? I mean, or did it start to get off the ground and then not, Virgo? Because right now, the underlying energy is almost like your person's stuck in the past, whether they are or not in a relationship. This card popped out. I was being selfish. I do believe that your person was being selfish because they weren't really giving anything. But I do feel like they do feel this spiritual connection to you. They are drawn to you. So it's almost like something should have happened, but they prevented it from happening. And possibly due to the fact that they're connected to someone that they don't really want to be connected to, but they don't really know how to get out of that. Or again, they're like, well, I'm not going to be in a relationship where I give all of myself again and then be left with nothing. And this is what happens a lot of times when we've been in relationships that haven't worked out. We think then we can control the relationship. But what happens is that we either overcompensate or undercompensate. So what happened is your person undercompensated where they didn't give you anything. And they didn't give you anything because, again, the moment that they had to think about what they were going to do, they got overstimulated because they're not taking into consideration their heart, right? They're trying to figure it out in their mind. But how can you figure out anything in your mind when you, again, are self-critical about yourself because you know that you don't really think 100% balanced because you're basing your life on past situations that didn't work out right. So your person under gave. They didn't want to act like they cared in the hopes that you would give more is what I'm feeling. Establish because they're established, because they have a business, they have a partnership with someone else. Again, they're tied together with someone else, bonded together to somebody else, and that is how they are established. Please don't be angry with me forever. Again, I believe that this person kind of led you on. I believe that they presented themselves to be someone that they're not. Yes. That's really what I feel. I feel like you met this person where there was an instantaneous connection, but your person has a lot of baggage and lives like almost like a double life that you don't know about because they are connected to someone that they don't really want to be with. But I believe that they've built things up, they're established through them again. So that tells me again that there's money. Because then there's the money that holds them together, but they're connected to someone that makes them feel bad. Okay, miracles happen. I think like again, when your person met you, you live so much more from a spiritual perspective, that you're a free spirit, that and where your person lives more from a very logical and mental way, and they look, their whole life is surrounded and by money. It's held together by finances and money, including the people that they're connected to, that I don't really even feel like they want to be connected to. And so I believe that you show them a different way of living. So miracles happen. It's almost like your person says one day it can happen, but I don't believe that they're really strong enough to leave. I believe that they're afraid to leave because they're they don't have a good sense of self. Again, deluded. It's you're deluded in how you're seeing yourself. You're deluded in how you're dealing with your life, interacting in your life, and you're deluded to think that you could stay connected in a loveless connection and not move forward with your life. I wish you knew how grateful I am to have met you. It's again, you showed this person how to live, that you're different. You showed them that there is a different way of being. So, is this a soulmate relationship? Yes, this is a soulmate relationship, but sometimes we have soulmates that only come in for a day. Sometimes they come for a season, and some come for a lifetime. I believe that this soulmate comes in for a season. You enter into this person's life for a season, mainly to show them how they're living. I wish I could turn back the clock and do things over. This person like started this relationship not being honest, not really being open. And so they always kept you at an arm's length, but they painted a picture of themselves to be one way, and that is not really who they are. So they can't really have you come into their life now, I mean, and still have an opportunity to date you or be with you later, because they do have feelings for you. That's why they get overstimulated. That again, you showed them a different way of being. This person doesn't just have feelings for you romantically, but they respect you. You've taught them something, you've changed them. And that's what soulmates do. So they wish that they would could start over and like start the relationship off with how they know you now. In the beginning, they were trying to impress you, but they were coming from a low vibration where they didn't feel good about themselves. So they were hiding a lot. This, again, that they're connected to someone mainly for money purposes. So, again, they didn't treat you right. They never gave you anything, and they know this. And I feel like they're full of shame. But part of that is not just because this relationship and what they did, but partially it's because how they're living. They need to look and see, in order to really heal their shame, they need to heal themselves. And part of that is to disconnect to the person that they're connected to that keeps them stuck in that vibration. I'm afraid of losing you. So it's again, a lot of times soulmates do that. it's again, they inspire us to change, but they inspire us to change because, you know, your soulmate twin flame does have free will. See whether they want to stick around and deal with this. You know, your person either is going to have to break this relationship or they're going to have to, you know, deal with it, stay in that loveless connection forever. They're the ones stuck with the choice. And I believe they're a little codependent. They're used to being with people that kind of tell them what to do. And then they go along with it. And then when they get bored, they kind of stray and then they come back. But, you know, there's someone else that holds the purse strings, because if they are to end that relationship, I'm sure the dynamic of the business or however the money, wherever they get money from, however it gets divided, it's your person would be taking a loss. So they're afraid of losing the money, but they're also afraid of losing you. Spiritually, they know what they have to do, but your person doesn't want to tap into their heart. They're avoiding their heart. They, again, would rather deal with this mentally and, again, logically, but I think logically has created a lot of overstimulation that your person just can't even think, so they just didn't do anything. And now they see that they haven't done anything. And now they're getting even more anxiety. I think the world of you. So it's again that like you again showed them a different way of being. And I also believe that when you found out how this person was living, or if this person again just breadcrumbed and then didn't come around, you didn't chase them down. They're used of people chasing them down. They're used of having people chase after them. They're used to having people lower their expectations to be with them, and you did not do that. And so they respect you. Then on top of it, you are a completely different breed than any other person, Virgo, because you're interactive in your life, you're interactive in your friends. I feel like a lot of you guys are killing it within work. You're looking good, you're smelling good, you're vibing high, you're getting a lot of attention. You didn't drop dead like this person expected you to, because they had a big ego. They have a big ego. Remember, your person is connected to someone for money purposes. So material things are very important. This is what your person perceived their identity to be. And what you showed them is your identity is not the car that you drive or the house that you live, and that you're not even happy. I'm happy. And I might not have as much as you, but I am free. And what your person sees is, well, I have not been living as great as I thought that I was. And I think the people around your person convinced this person how great that they were doing because of the materialistic things. And this was also easy for them to, you know, be manipulated, because I do believe that they grew up with not as much money. So sometimes, again, what we really desire and want at one time in our life is based because we didn't have it. And then once we obtain it, we realize that that is not really what's going to fulfill us. And I believe that your person had compromised their own happiness in a life full of love and passion with someone that they really feel connected to for money purposes. So whether that person got married a long time ago and the relationship isn't working anymore, or again, they just got involved, somehow roped into business and somehow wound up in this relationship that they don't really want to be in. It's a loveless shame, like it's a loveless relationship. It's like a sham. It's not even a relationship, and everyone that's close to these people know it. So at this point, it doesn't even feel good. I dive in and out of relationships. Yeah, your person dived in and out of relationships because they're in a loveless relationship with someone else. So that person doesn't care if they go and fuck 1,000 other people and have in and out of other people's beds. They don't care. They're like, the money stays in my pocket. I don't care. And your person was going along with it because it's like, well, everyone perceives me through the car that I drive, the house that I have, and everything that I have. If I end this, I lose half my possessions. Now I have to look at really who I am. And this is really difficult for your person, is what I feel. So they were getting their emotional support from diving in and out of relationships, very superficial, coming in, and it was all about passion and not really built on emotions. And so they met you, now they fall head over heels. They never had a relationship like this. You changed them. They treated you like how they treated everyone else, which obviously was not good. And so now they are so overstimulated in the fact that they are seeing you differently than how they perceived you. And that's because they breadcrumbed you, because they were good talking to a lot of other people, because again, they have a loveless thing at home. So they were like, I can never leave this thing, so it'll always be like that. So they weren't even thinking anything. Now they're actually thinking, I want to leave this relationship because that they're in because it's loveless, because they actually think, well, maybe I can have it all. Yeah, your person and destiny is taking us down different paths. I feel like that's their big fear. They're like, maybe destiny is taking us down two different paths. And I also believe that you're like, at this point, Virgo, you're like, I think destiny may be taking us down two different paths because you sat on the fence a lot. You're really wrapped up in that situation, which means that I would have to somehow get involved in that. If I'm with you now, it's association, and I don't know if I want to do that. So I think that right now, Virgo, like you're leaning towards, well, now you're feeling like you want to be with me, but now I'm feeling like I don't want to be with you. Please be patient with me. Yeah, because your person is like, again, like, please be patient with me. And you're like, well, I don't really even know if this is going to work out with us because you haven't been here. You've breadcrumbed. And now you're like, oh, I'm ready to be in a relationship with you. And you're like, oh, well, now just because you're ready to be in a relationship with me, well, I don't really think that I'm going to want to be in a relationship with you, which now we have to be careful that you're not just reacting from an emotional standpoint, because I feel like you're mad, Virgo. I feel like you're mad. You're like, okay, it's been all about you. And it has been all about your person, but they didn't know any better. They were selfish. They've been selfish this whole time. They were connected to someone that clearly has more feelings for them than they do for that person, but they won't walk away for money purposes. So they're using that person and then running around and still getting their needs met emotionally by hooking up with random people, diving in and out of relationships. So your person is selfish. They're learning, if they're going to be with you, that they can't be selfish. So there's a sense where you know this, and that's why you're like, I think destiny may be taking us down two different paths. But I think your person just thinks that you're saying that because you're disgusted. And that's why they're like, please be patient with me. I'm going to show you. And I believe that your person is really going to try and show you. I want to see what the hidden truths are. This is what happens, like when you meet a person and you're not true. This is what happens. Because if your person just would have been honest from the get-go, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm leaving that. Now they're leaving, and most likely they're leaving with just the clothes on their back. And so they're not just explaining about who that they were connected to and why they never really gave to this connection to begin with. But now they got to explain why they're poor and why they put on that charade that they had a lot more. So there's a sense of it, that they know that you're going to be looking at them like, who is this person? Embarrassing. We need to let each other go. I feel like that there's a part of them that goes back and forth and says that because they're so afraid, they don't think that they can fix this. And I feel like, Virgo, you're like, unless you can come in and like tell me everything, like where you were, why you were, this, like almost like an essay, like, you know, when you have to write an essay for school and they say, like, why did you go to the store? Did you steal something from the store? Why did you steal from the store? What happened to you at the store? Like, it has to be like in such detail, like why, when, and like all your questions need to be answered because the dots are not matching up. And if this person is humble, your person had a big ego. So they would have to actually not be arrogant. They'd have to come in humble. They'd have to be a different person, pretty much. And so I think that there's a part of you that's like, I don't really think that you can do that. So I think that we need to let each other go. And I think your person is like, I don't know if I can be the person that you need me to be. So I think we need to let each other go. But I also feel like that's a fleeting thought based on emotion, not really a belief. It's more like, oh, this is too difficult. But the problem is with soulmates, a lot of times, it's about healing. It's about stepping into the best version of yourself. And your person, obviously, it was staying low, right? Lower vibration. And for you to actually be like, I don't want this. And to realize that it's like, it's making you step into a better version of yourself because you're saying, no, I know what I'm deserving of. I don't want this. And it's made your person look and be like, I really have feelings for this person. And look at my life. My life sucks. My life is horrible. It's like, I thought that this was going to be a better decision. I thought the money was going to make my life fulfill and that I would just bounce back the way that I always have done. I've been in a million relationships, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I don't even believe that the relationship with you, Virgo, ever got off the ground. But there's this intense connection that they just can't let go of, and they don't understand why. And that's because it's divine. That's because it's divine, which means that they had to learn. They had to learn. It was one that the divine has brought into their lives to awaken what they're trying to ignore within inside them. I feel you, even though we are apart. Yeah, because it's soulmate relationship. That's why I said we need to let each other go. It's like, yeah, I felt like you both were saying that, but out of a place of this is hard. This is hard. Like Virgo is calling you to like have forgiveness. If you want this person back, you would have to be patient with them because they haven't been living from a high vibration. This is not purpose the way that they are. This is the way that they've conducted their life for a long time. I feel like in a way that they were in a relationship with someone that possibly got pregnant really fast and then they married them right away without fully knowing them, and the person connected to them has made it into a marriage, but your person never wanted it to be a marriage. Was like, okay, yeah, this looks good on paper. Yeah, well, I'm getting older. It's okay, we can get married. But there wasn't that passion. And not until they met you did they have this deep, intense connection that they can't just walk away from. It has rocked their world. So even though that you guys are apart, soulmate, twin flame, the connection is through the heart and mind. It's like the person can't let it go even if they tried, is what they're saying. We're gonna leave it off with this, with a soulmate twin flame card, and just see. Because as far as right now, they're not doing anything but looking at their life and feeling stupid and feeling ashamed, and like, because they have their mind is diluted, again, because they're very self-critical of how they treated you, how they're living their life, how are they going to fix it? So they're in this phase right now. Wherever you are is home to me. I feel safe and at peace with you. I never want to let you go. So again, I'm taking that as they're realizing you are their soulmate twin flame because you feel like home. Again, and that when you're not together, they're still thinking of you. They can still feel you. That ESP connection is there, which is, again, makes a lot of sense, because this is a relationship like no other that they've experienced before. They were able to shut that part off and live more from a very superficial way of, again, the relationship that they're in is held together with money and not love. And they were able to live that way, diving in and out of relationships. Not anymore. You rock their world. They've changed. They know that they want to be in this relationship. So, but they're still in that healing phase. I know I said that that was it, but if I pull one more to just see what they're gonna do, because right now, like I said, they're just in that healing phase of the realization of their life and the fact that, wow, you really are something special to me. I really do care. I think that they had to lose you in order to realize how important that you are to them. I feel like they thought that they can control love. I'm not going to lie. Okay, last one. I tried to forget you. We are definitely leaving this here. I tried to forget you, but it's not working. I always feel your presence with me. I'm magnetically pulled to you, which is why I felt all the time when it would say, we got to let each other go. I was like, that's just an emotion. It's not like real. It's because both parties are frustrated, and your person's more frustrated with themselves for how they handled this. And I feel like, Virgo, you're just frustrated because you're like, why do I always have to get someone that is like either broken or they don't have their shit together, and then I have to deal with it? Well, if you're getting this, Virgo, it's because you need to give yourself the love that you're not 100% ready for this relationship either, because a divine relationship wouldn't bring one person that's ready and the other person not. Your life may not be falling apart and be a mess because you're not connected to someone financially that owns your life. You might need to work more on your business. You might need to become more financially savvy, but it means give the love to yourself, because this is a divine union, and that both parties try to forget, but they can't. They tried. It's obviously easier for your person to be like, I would rather just forget this relationship. Do you know what a pain in the ass is going to be to like walk away? I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to have to start over. It's a lot, but they're going to do it. That's what it looks like to me, because they're say, well, I had the money. I'm not happy. I have to make myself happy. I'm going to leave it there, Virgo. You let me know whether you resonated with this. And if you did, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.